The first session of the 113th Congress will go down as one of the most contentious in our nation's history, resulting in fewer bills being enacted into law during 2013 than in any other year since 1947. Despite this, CUNA and the leagues made important progress advancing the credit union legislative agenda on Capitol Hill. Congress continued to rely on CUNA as its premier resource for information about the credit union system. CUNA testified before Congress 7 times in 2013. We submitted over 50 letters to Congress on issues such as tax reform, housing finance reform, patent reform, member business lending, supplemental capital and regulatory burden, the crisis of creeping complexity. CUNA's top priority on Capitol Hill was to protect the credit union tax status. Congress actively pursued comprehensive tax reform in 2013 and laid down a process to examine the tax issue going forward. Without a doubt, the progress that Congress made on tax reform validated CUNA's decision to launch the Don't Tax My Credit Union campaign. At last year's GAC, Speaker Boehner announced his intention to move tax reform legislation through the House. CUNA responded with the development of a tax toolkit designed to help credit unions have a conversation with their members on the value of credit unions and the importance of the tax status. Both Senate Finance and House Ways and Means committees began their work shortly after the GAC. Before long, CUNA was asked to come to the Ways and Means Committee and defend the tax status. In meetings with Senate Finance Committee staff, CUNA learned that the committee intended to take a blank slate approach to tax reform. These events were pivotal to CUNA's decision to launch the campaign in May, and because we did, credit unions were well positioned when the Finance Committee released its options paper in June, and then began a process of seeking feedback from senators in July. Tax reform was not limited to the federal level. A number of states have seen an increased call for taxation of credit unions. The Don't Tax effort has provided valuable resources for state tax battles. Even though the government shutdown slowed progress on tax reform somewhat, the budget deal that was ultimately reached provides a good deal of breathing room for Congress to consider other matters, like tax reform, without having to worry about the government shutting down every few months. As important as defending the credit union tax status is to the future of credit unions, relieving credit unions of unnecessary burden is critical to day-to-day operations. That is why CUNA has been the leading advocate of regulatory relief legislation on Capitol Hill. In April, we presented 36 regulatory relief proposals to the House Financial Services Committee and the Senate Banking Committee, and we're working with them to move them through the legislative process. We were very pleased that the House has already passed one of these proposals, the Privacy Notification Bill. The bill is pending in the Senate, where we hope it will pass soon. These bills are small steps for sure. However, with Congress gridlocked, gone are the days when large industry-specific bills like H.R. 1151 are taken up and enacted into law. Our strategy of encouraging Congress to pass small bills aligns with what Congress, in its current state, is capable of doing.